And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Traveling up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Fighting downside FTE off. Bring in FTE off. It's orange!
R45! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Put that in the big bag, 343 unfolds to go. Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
You are looking live right now at Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. I am Sawyer Rosenstein here with NASASpaceflight to bring you coverage of the Starlink 6-7 launch, and happy to see all of those 5x5s in chat, meaning that you can hear us tonight. And unfortunately, we may not have a record-breaking launch cadence going on tonight, but any launch is still a good launch, and we have a fantastic team to bring it to you tonight. Joining me tonight is Alex. How's it going tonight, Alex?
I'm doing fine. I wish tonight was gonna be 2 rockets instead of 1, but I'm okay with this one. It's still a rocket.
Exactly. Also joining us tonight out in the field is Julia. How's it going?
Why, hello there, Sawyer. I'm doing well. The clouds are dissipating. It's a calm night. The only security around me are the mosquitoes, and I see a rocket in front of me, so I'm happy.
Oh, yes. A lot of rockets lately. Always happy to see them. I believe Das may be jumping in every now and then. Is that the case tonight, Das?
I was gonna say, what am I, Sawyer? Chopped liver? Do I get to talk tonight?
I had to introduce the person getting bitten by mosquitoes first.
Did y'all see my tweet, chat? Did y'all see my tweet? I thought my tweet was very clever.
Oh, everyone's got to check out Das's tweet then.
Sorry. Shameless.
And we have Pat and Kevin right now behind the scenes. Pat, the one tonight, I believe, pushing the buttons, pulling the levers, and making all of the awesomeness go to your screens. So, reminder, if you have any questions, you can tag us at NASASpaceflight, and we will do our best to answer as many of them as we can. In the meantime, though, Alex, do you mind filling us in a little bit about what this mission is all about?
Yeah, so today, SpaceX, shockingly, they're launching another Starlink mission. This one is carrying another 22 Starlink V2 mini satellites into low Earth orbit. And this one is flying on a very special booster for some that I know out there. I don't know if they're watching, but hi. And this one is launching on B1062, which is flying for a 15th time. This booster, I see what you did there. This booster is flying for a 15th time. It is the 3rd booster to have flown, or to be flown basically 15 times, which is quite a remarkable achievement to do. There's another one, B1061, that is also on the heels. It's already launched 14 times. Should be launching soon as well with that 15 flight. So we're approaching 4 boosters already at 15 flights. Now, this mission, as usual, it is launching to the southeast. And the booster will be landing on a shortfall of gravitas about 642 kilometers downrange. Thanks. There you go. That's the trajectory for today's launch. And yeah, pretty much your standard run-of-the-mill kind of Starlink, but it's exciting because this is a record turnaround time for Slick 40. They have slashed that record by several hours. I will get you the number, but the teaser has moved around, so I don't have an updated number, but I can get you that in just a few minutes.
Of course, Alex can. I'm sure there's some spreadsheets somewhere with all that information.
You know what else is special about tonight?
What, Julia?
Ooh.
We're bringing you a different perspective tonight. Today, I am broadcasting from Cars Park, which is a KSC property that offers public viewing. So I have port behind me, and I have a rocket in front of me, and a campground to the other side of me. And you too could enjoy this view from the pier. That's one of the questions we get often on live streams is when I'm in town, where can I go see a launch? So tonight we thought we'd bring you one from a great place to watch a launch.
Yes, and if you call now in the next 20 minutes, you can get in access to the park for just $5 US, which is the actual admission price. But
Wait, is that for
yeah,
real? Like that's
Yes,
the actual price.
it is
Yeah, for
$5
real.
per car.
Oh, how do you spell it? Is it Cars Park like CARS, or is it Cars like KARR?
It's like the people in the U.S. that know the terrible song related to a certain organization. It is KARS.
I don't think anybody has any clue what you're talking about, Sawyer. But going right
I'm sure there are
moving right
some that
along.
do, but yes, it is
Chat.
KARS Cars Park.
Does anybody in chat know what Sawyer's talking about?
I see Thomas is getting the hint.
Okay.
Yep, I see people getting it. Okay, I am not going to sing it. Trust me on that one.
Okay.
Anyway, Julia, while we have you out there too, I know that we kind of had the weather here that's been kind of iffy tonight, pushing this T0 back a bit. What's the weather looking like right now?
Well, the weather right now is actually looking pretty good. Just above the pad would be the one remaining possible thick cloud, but it is a lot smaller than it was the last couple possible windows that we have passed. So that is hopeful. The rain that we had today, y'all, that was actually a tropical trough. So we are touching upon that hurricane season, and we had rain bands and more rain bands. So that is why we are here as late as we are tonight. But it's looking good. I see stars. I even see a hazy moon. So yeah, I think we're okay.
All right. That is good to hear. As we continue counting down now, we are about T-minus 32 minutes away from this liftoff. Now, we had a chance at history, but it unfortunately did not happen. So, we have a question here from Princess Jules, and Alex, I'll put this one to you, saying, do we have any details on what happened to Falcon Heavy and why it's delayed? And also, what was that potential record breaker that we could have seen tonight?
Yes, I actually now have the numbers. I'll get to that later. But first of all, Falcon Heavy. It was during the countdown yesterday where it sort of like had that aboard. It appears that from what SpaceX tweeted that they had some kind of red line that they usually call like some kind of abort criteria that they hit, and they had to abort the launch. Now, it seems like by their following tweet about the mission that they basically had to check out the rocket. And they probably didn't have enough time today to check it out in time for a launch attempt tonight. And they basically moved it to tomorrow. So that launch doubleheader did not occur tonight. But we'll still have a heavy tomorrow. So it's still, we still have rockets to launch. So don't fret. There's still more launches. Now, today's launch, though, and it is breaking a turnaround record for Slick 40 for Pad 40 at the Cape. And this one is going from none other than 4 days, 17 hours, and 14 minutes, which is the current record, to, get this, 4 days, 3 hours, and 11 minutes. And now, the reason why this is quite a remarkable thing is that usually in the past, this sort of when they've been able to shave some time off that record in the past few attempts, they've done that by maybe 1 hour, 2 hours here and there, maybe 3, 4 top. This one is 14 hours, like more than half a day that they're shaving from the record. So it's 14 hours and 3 minutes from that record that they are able to go down. And Well, we don't know if it's actually going to happen or not, but the next scheduled launch from this pad is less than 3 days turnaround. I really highly doubt that, but we'll see what happens. Definitely, these guys are trying to really crank these launches up to the max. So we'll see what happens.
No, it's Julie in the field tonight, not Max.
I knew you were going to say that.
Of course. Uh, before we get to a couple more questions here, let me thank a couple of people who've already been supporting us since even the original T0. Hang on, can you still hear me?
The original T0, nice.
Yeah, I guess that's a better way to put it. Lord of the Oxcord, thank you for becoming a Red Team member, and I do enjoy that name. GizmoFish57, thank you for upgrading to a Red Team member. Musical Wolves, common name here, coming in with super chat saying, will we see any other satellites besides Starlinks sneak into a Starlink launch due to the weight of the new V2s? Any idea on that, Alex?
Well, that is an interesting question because I do wonder that myself. I wonder even if the current setup of the rod system for V2 minis even allows any ride shares. I'm not sure. I haven't really heard anything about, if there's any sort of complications because the difference here, I'm going to rewind a little bit what happened with V1.5 in comparison. And it is that for V1.5, every single launch, those satellites were retained by 4 tension rods during launch. And then these tension rods were released, basically dumped out in orbit. And then as those were released, the satellites will break free from the payload adapter. Now, for V2 Mini, though, these rods, there are still 4 of them, 2 on each side of the second stage, but they fold back and they basically stay attached to the second stage when they deploy the satellites. So that means with the previous sort of method, the rods can have they were able to have like an adapter on top where they could put another set of satellites on top because they were just released. They were just dumped out as a space junk on orbit. It still came down within a few days, maybe like a couple of weeks, but still, it was an easy way to just dump everything and the adapter for the extra satellites and whatnot. For this one, I see it more complicated. I'm not sure if that's possible, but hey, it's a SpaceX. They might just be, doing more extra things here and there. We'll see what happens.
There you go. Moldy Space, someone take away a pun token from Sawyer. Now I've got the Cars for Kids theme stuck in my head. For the 31% of you that understood that, I'm sure the same thing is going through your head as well. Man on Mars, NSF best channel for launch, hands down. Shout out to our space dogs currently watching NSF. Wiley Cyrus and Vagabundo. Woof woof. Love it.
Wiley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Is it like a mix of Wiley Coyote and Miley Cyrus?
I think instead
that's
of
what I
Miley
got.
Cyrus, it's Wiley Cyrus.
That's yes. I agree. Good job, Sawyer.
Thank you. And we had Yvonne becoming a Red Team member and a whole bunch of gifted Red Team members here. Jody Hansen, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Bideford, thank you for gifting 5. Moldy Space, thank you for gifting 5. Dougal, thank you for gifting 1. And Apocalypse Cow, thank you for gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Wow. If you receive one of these gifted memberships, please make sure you give them a big thank you. And also make sure after the launch to check out all the awesome member content that's available.
Apocalypse Cow. I like people's names.
Oh yeah, there's some great usernames on YouTube, and some that I do facepalm every time I read them. I won't say which. Let's see. We have a question here from Star asking, will we possibly see a jellyfish tonight, or is it too late? Julia, do you think we have a chance of seeing a jellyfish tonight?
I would say 0 chance of jellyfish tonight.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
too
not
late.
even the moon. The moon is behind a haze, and it's only at about a half moon right now. So sorry.
Yeah, remember, y'all, the jellyfish work, they happen whenever the sun has just gone down or the sun's about to rise. So the sun's actually shining through the atmosphere, but it's not reaching the ground because the Earth is blocking it, right? So you really only get it for maybe up to an hour after sunset and about an hour before sunset. And the closer you get to sunset or sunrise, the better you are, right? But sometimes we get it from the moon. If we have a full moon that's out and it is bright enough to illuminate the rocket, we can see it there as well. But when it's a significant distance after the sun has gone down, like tonight, 11:37 p.m. Eastern Time, we're not going to get to see a jellyfish, unfortunately.
You also need it to be relatively clear as well in terms of all clouds and to get the best shot of seeing all of it.
Well, yeah, you really don't want the ground jellyfish where it's so foggy, all you see is the clouds light up and then there's no view of the actual rocket.
True. Let's see, a couple more questions here from you guys. Michael Hall asking, with tonight's first stage landing on A Shortfall of Gravitas, does that not mean double drone ship landing tomorrow? Alex?
Yeah, no, the Falcon Heavy, it is doing a return to launch site landing for the side boosters. They are landing back on landing zone 1 and landing zone 2.
Yeah, and along those lines, Jacob asking, so we talked, this booster is special to some people, asking what previous missions has this particular booster supported?
Ooh, well, there's a lot of missions. I can get to you in just 1 second. There you go. So it previously supported the launches of GPS-3 SVO4, GPS-3 SVO5, Inspiration 4, Starlink Group 4-5, Axiom 1, Starlink Group 4-16, Nilesat 301, Starlink Group 4-25, Starlink Group 4-27, Starlink Group 4-36, Starlink Group 5-1. Jesus, it's so many. Starlink Group 5-4, OneWeb 17, and Arabsat 7B. So those are the previous 14 missions, and there's another specialty of this booster as well. It is Mr. or Mrs., I guess, depending on what you want to use. Fast booster, because it is the current record holder for the fastest turnaround time for a booster at just a little bit over 21 days, so 3 weeks of turnaround time between Axiom 1 and Starlink Group 4-16. That was in 2022. So yeah, it is a special booster for some. It's not mine because I don't really have a special booster, I guess, but yeah, it's remarkable. It's done really neat things.
Along with
It
4
has.
hummingbirds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree?
It
Thank you,
has
Sawyer.
had a jellyfish. I mean, you can add jellyfish to that too, because Inspiration 4
too.
was a jellyfish. Yep.
Yes. Oh, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's launched 2 crew missions, 2 GPS missions. It's done a lot of things. You know what it's gonna do soon?
I have a feeling
20-minute vent.
I was going to say, I have a feeling you're going to say the best vent in all of existence.
It's actually not the rocket, but it's close to the rocket. It's for the TE, I guess.
Yeah, well, we have that coming up in about 20 seconds. So while we wait for that to happen momentarily, can you explain what is actually happening at this T-minus 20-minute vent, what to look for in the next few seconds, and why we're seeing it?
Yeah, so right now they are going with a propellant load onto the both the stages, but only the RP1 load on the second stage. And as they wrap up that second stage RP1 load, you can see that T-minus 20-minute vent appear, and that is to chill down the lines that go up onto the second stage to load liquid oxygen. So those lines need to be purged and chilled down ahead of liquid oxygen load, because it's very, very cold, and those lines are pretty much at, well, a few seconds ago they were at room temperature. You need them to be chilled down, to be cooled down to the temperatures of the liquid oxygen, so that when you flow the cold stuff, aka the liquid oxygen, it doesn't really convert into basically a hot gas bubble thing that stays on your lines. That can damage a lot of things. You don't want that to happen, so you flow a little bit of liquid nitrogen through the pipes, and that gets it to the right temperatures ahead of that liquid oxygen load. So there you go.
And it's perfectly normal. Like when we it's like, oh my gosh, the rocket is leaking so much stuff. What's wrong with it? It's a completely normal thing. In fact, if we don't see this, it indicates there might be something up with the rocket. But if we see it right there, just over 20 minutes away from the T0, we know that everything, at least venting related, is going to plan, right?
Yeah, that is true. That means they are continuing along with the timeline. And a reminder, we should be seeing this till about T-minus 16-ish minutes or so. That is when, in theory, the lines will all be fully purged. That will also indicate that second stage LOX loading will begin. That is the liquid oxygen, or as we like to jokingly call it, LOXygen. On that second stage there, which those are currently already being loaded up into that first stage booster.
Now, time
Yeah.
out, Sawyer. I mean, SpaceX, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, said LOXygen on their stream yesterday. So we're not jokingly calling it LOXygen. We're reporting the fact that that's what SpaceX calls it.
I think SpaceX got that from us. Thank you very
Oh, geez,
much.
they got it from us. Nice.
Yeah.
I believe it was Thomas and I who came up with that on a stream. Thomas
that-
mentioned it, and I just kept repeating it.
Is that the vent that we saw there, or
No, that would have been way above. Like that view of the sky
okay.
above the tree line there is significantly above the rocket.
Yeah.
that
So
was a
Sawyer
cloud.
mentioned this vent will disappear when they start that liquid oxygen load. But once it stops that liquid oxygen load, it'll come back because they need to purge it ahead of launch. So that should be around T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds, more or less. But that's still quite a ways to go. We'll see.
Ah,
Yeah.
As we get there, we'll mention it.
the view of the sky was actually the auto track camera. There we go. On the roof of the KSC press site building, set to wait for the rocket to emerge from the stream or from the trees there, and then identify it like, hey, that's a rocket, and automatically track its, I guess, trip into the heavens here. So that's what that was. This is the auto track camera set to begin tracking as soon as it sees a rocket, which hopefully will happen in 17 minutes.
And as long as those clouds are moving by relatively quickly, that's a good thing, in my books at least.
Is that part of our cloak devices that we've used to do those nice transitions?
What? No, that's a totally different technology.
Oh my gosh.
That's super secret. I can't tell anybody how I do it.
Oh boy.
Super
Anyway.
secret. Super secret clubs.
Oh boy. Continuing along here, we've got some support here that I do want to mention as well. Again, Mark, getting an item from the store. A reminder, shop.nasaspaceflight.com. When we're live, you can add a store message. Getting, it looks like, an awesome metal print and asking, thanks for the great coverage as always. What's the status of the larger fairing for Falcon 9? Also, #go Team Stubby. I'm going to hold off on that second comment. Alex, what's the deal with the potential larger fairing for Falcon 9?
Well, right now we don't really know. The current status is just that we know it's something that they have proposed, but so far we haven't really seen it. We know that there's at the very least one mission when they're gonna need it, which is the gateway mission with the power and propulsion element plus the habitation and logistics outpost module, whatever it is called. Those two are gonna have to be basically put together on the ground, and the whole stack is just too tall to fit in the regular Falcon fairing, so they're going to need that standard fairing, that larger fairing. Whether we're going to see any other mission with that fairing, I'm not sure. I don't really know, but we'll see.
And along those lines with the Team Stubby, question follow-up, is this second stage a regular Merlin vacuum or a stubby Merlin vacuum, a slightly shorter variant?
Well, right from the onset, one will say, well, we cannot see it, right? Because it's inside of the interstage. But there's a rule of thumb here. If it is a mission where they need to put as much payload as they can, you're not going to see that kind of a stubby MVOC nozzle, because it's just basically for missions where they can have a spare performance. Starlink missions are not like that. They try to fit as many many satellites as they can into that fairing and try to push much payload into orbit as they can. So this one most certainly not. It's not going to carry the stubby MVAC nozzle.
Interesting.
There we
And
go.
I'm gonna bet that the Falcon Heavy for tomorrow is also not carrying that one.
For just a second there, you could see the sort of haze around the lights at the port. That was our fleet cam over at Rusty's Seafood and Oyster Bar. And it's a little hazy, but not terrible. Julia, how's the sky looking? Do we have a clean signal from Julia real quick?
How's the sky looking?
Yeah.
I mean,
Any stars?
there's a filmy haze, but there's stars. I mean, I can see some constellations. So,
Okay.
unfortunately, that's directly above me and not necessarily to the south, but directly above the pad, I'd say it's a thin layer of cloud. For the first
Okay.
maybe 15 seconds of launch.
Think it'll
We'll
pop
see
up
how that
above it, or do you
holds.
think the cloud's gonna like block our view of being able to see it at all?
I think we'll be able to see it.
Okay.
I think.
You'll
Yeah,
have to tune
I
in
think
and
we'll see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little
Nerd-
hard to tell.
Well, we'll keep watching.
Yes.
Go ahead, Sawyer.
I was going to say, Nerd, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Molly Miriams, thank you for gifting 20 Red Team memberships. Goodness gracious, thank you for that. Again, if you receive any of these gifted Red Team memberships, please give them a thank you. And our biggest thanks to the people that do give those memberships and allow people that might not get the chance to experience some of the cool behind-the-scenes pictures and photos from KSC flyovers, Starbase, and more. Shadow Gunner, love the new camera view. Keep up the amazing coverage. Gifts for pretty much all of us here except Alex. Pun tokens for Sawyer, bacon for Das, and mosquito repellent for Julia.
Bacon for
Aw,
Das.
thank
Thanks, Shadow
you.
Gunner. Yeah.
Alex will
Need a fan.
yeah, we'll send you more
I'm
spreadsheet
okay with that.
pages. I don't know.
He needs a fan, he says.
Yeah.
There you go. Send
it's
him a
too hot
fan.
in here.
Fun fact for those of you on live stream, Alex is not cut out to be a Floridian.
Oh, yeah.
True.
My problem right now is that it's supposed to be cold outside, but there's no wind. So inside my house, it's super hot here, and yeah, especially with the computer and everything. Anywho, enough of me.
By the way, Jack in the back channel sounds like is trying to steal that bacon from Joss. So,
I will happily share the bacon with Jack.
all right, it's shared. There we go.
Yeah.
Katie Porter saying, waiting for my Falcon Heavy Scrub Princess shirt and drink, Sawyer. LOL.
Oh, no.
It may or may not have been suggested to me by Katie last night that we need a Falcon Heavy print that says Scrub Princess wearing a crown and a sash because it seems to be the Scrub Princess lately. So,
We've always talked about that. Real quick, Sawyer, like we've talked about that. And we said, should we have vehicle-specific scrub shirts, right? And one sort of way of thinking is, no, you shouldn't call out a single vehicle like that scrubs more often than others. Delta 4 heavy, or whatever. But on the other side, like on the other hand, it's like when a vehicle that rarely scrubs gets a scrub shirt, does that make it more special? Chat, what do y'all think? Like, is it not right to make vehicle-specific scrub shirts, or is that okay? Because everybody knows it's all in good fun. We're not saying, like, what a terrible rocket. We sell so many scrub shirts for that rocket. Like, that's not what we're doing, right? What do y'all think?
if we do it, though, please use that design because I want to meet Katie for drinks. Anyway.
Nice.
That diabetic kid, haven't been home to get it, but Starship plushie said delivered today. Can't wait to open it. I love that. And I gotta say, there may be a few of them left potentially.
Like 2 digits, actually, like in the tens of plushies left. We ordered 4 digits of them, and there are tens left of the plushies.
That means you got to go to shop.nasaspaceflight.com if you want some of those last few plushies. Again, that is the Starship full stack plushie. That is 22 inches of plushie goodness. It's got all the engines and things on the bottom there. It's fantastic. So definitely check that out. Yeah,
I've been asking people because it's got Velcro, so you can make the full stack, right?
Yes.
And I've been asking people how it holds up, and it holds up about as good as the actual Starship held up, and then it sort of folds in half, and yeah. So the structural margins are very realistic. It stays together even after it starts to fold in half.
There you go. If you want something else that's realistic, then you can also get from our launch, entry, and landing collection, which is perfect if you're trying to follow along with tonight's launch, which is a drone ship landing for this booster for the 15th time, hopefully. If you're wondering, what's the order of lighting the engines after launch? We have it all for you, and you can get it on a shirt, a sweatshirt, a mug, and it is accurate to the exact engine number of which one's light. So that is, I love having that shirt. It's one of my favorites at shop.nasaspaceflight.com.
See, then SpaceX usually tries to do a funny, and some missions actually have a 1-engine entry burn and a 3-engine landing burn. Because why not? But you can just flip you just like warp the whole shirt around, and you're like, see, I already have the one for those kind of missions, and you're done.
No, just order 2 and then cut the second one and swap the order.
Yeah, you can also buy 2. That's correct.
Anyway, so we are coming up now on one of the next events in about a minute from now, T-minus 7 minutes. That is when the engine chill begins prior to launch. So that is conditioning the 9 Merlin 1D engines by starting to flow the super cool propellant through it and get them ready as they deal with the cold propellants and the heat of launch. Let's take some more of your questions here. Here's one from Jacob asking, what's the difference between a Falcon 9 that serves as a Falcon Heavy booster or core stage and a regular Falcon 9?
The actual difference in terms of the manufacturing and things like that, it is pretty much the same. Because the tankage and things like that, it is the same, but obviously the difference is whatever is attached to the booster, right? In the case of a Falcon Heavy side booster, it is basically with like a nose cone, and it has attachments on the octaweb to be able to attach to the center core. On the Falcon 9 version, it has an interstage. It doesn't have those connections for the center core, etc., etc. There are other things that indicate which kind of booster it is, whether that booster is scheduled to be Falcon Heavy side booster or not. But sometimes SpaceX just changes their mind and you know, it ends up reassigning boosters here and there. But you will see that Falcon Heavy side boosters, even when they are on a Falcon 9 configuration, they do not have the Falcon 9 logo on them. That's one of the things. Now, for Falcon Heavy center cores, they cannot convert those from Falcon 9s to Falcon Heavy center cores because those have different tankage. The tanks are thicker and they have reinforcements so that they can take the load from the side boosters of Falcon Heavy. So those are uniquely made for Falcon Heavy and only for Falcon Heavy.
All right. And Julia, one quick question here before we let you go. SpaceX saying, will this be an RTLS, a return to landing site, or is this a drone ship?
It is my favorite thing. It is a drone ship landing on A Shortfall of Gravitas, which is about 634 kilometers to the southeast of us.
Awesome. Well, we are going to let you go watch that and track that launch, and we will talk to you after liftoff. At this point now, we have confirmation that RP1 load is complete. That is rocket propellant 1. It is a refined form of kerosene that is used along with the oxygen to produce the thrust from Falcon 9 here.
Oxygen.
Not official name.
It flows so easy, right? Just like the oxygen itself. Hey! Anyway,
Anywho,
we're about 5 minutes to go now.
No
until
comments.
liftoff here.
Hey, real quick, y'all, on this, you see the flashing lights in the very middle bottom? We've got this camera super wide right now, and it's going to light up the entire port when it goes. But the two little blinking lights, like in the middle of the screen just above the stacks of plywood or whatever they have out there today, that is SLC 40 across the port. Neat.
Very neat. So, proof that if you go down there, you still can see it, but your best views are going to be with NASA Spaceflight, just saying. Here's a question from Amber. Kind of a little bit of a recap question, but I think it's still a good thing to go over here really quickly. How many Starlinks are on this mission, Alex? And then I don't know if you have the number in front of you, but Luke asking if you know how many total satellites that'll be.
Ooh. I don't have that last one. I can get you that maybe after the launch, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's going to be a lot of... We're
least-
in the last few minutes of the countdown
At least
here.
on this V2 mini launch, how many of those do we have going
Oh,
up?
this one is 22 satellites. Yep.
Awesome. So that is 22 of the V2s. Reminder, the V1.5s are done. All of the ones that are in orbit are the final ones of those. Everything from now on will be V2 Mini, which is launched from Falcon 9, and hopefully sooner than later, the regular-sized V2s launching aboard Starship. That'll be exciting when we get to that. Here's a question from Outdoorsman Show. Reminder, this is going for the 15th flight of this booster. Could SpaceX use a high number booster, 10 or more flights, on a Falcon Heavy, or is there performance loss with any of these higher flight boosters? Is there performance loss with flying a booster 15 times?
From an engine perspective, I'm not sure, but it does, newer boosters do have improvements in the performance and things like that. Like they have other kind of stuff that allows them to be able to do that.
So
But
yeah,
I'm not sure they will actually do it, because Falcon Heavy missions usually have customer missions. Probably not. I don't know. It's complicated to think about it right now, to be honest.
But basically, the simplest way to put it is, if SpaceX had stopped making all improvements to any vehicles, the vehicle itself would pretty much be mostly the same.
Exactly.
Although, as we know, SpaceX continues to make small improvements to every single iteration of Falcon 9. This is Falcon 9 Block 5, or the 5th version, basically. But there's a little dots afterwards of lots of tiny additions to improve performance and efficiency. We are now coming up on T-minus 2 minutes until launch.
Everything looking good? Have we heard anything from Mission Control?
So far, so good. Weather is actually 90% go for it improved very radically here during the countdown, during the window. So yeah, right now they are not tracking any issues so far, and they are proceeding with the final few seconds of propellant load, which you'll see that vent on the Stromback to come back just in a few seconds. I think that's it coming back.
There it is.
And that indicates that the second stage LUX load has basically it's complete, and so Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with propellants ahead of launch.
90 seconds ago.
Yep, and a few minutes ago we also saw the retraction of the little arms that were kind of going around it from the TE. So the TE, the transporter erector, what takes it from the hangar basically upright, has moved away from it by a few degrees and will throw back completely once we get to T0. Now,
we got some rocket blessing happening there as Julia was getting ready to track it. Julia, good luck with the track out there.
T-minus 1 minute at this point. All of the onboard computers of Falcon 9 will take over. That means Falcon 9 is in startup, and at the same time, all of the propellant tanks will go up to flight pressure. The next thing we're waiting for will be the go for launch from the launch director at T-minus 45 seconds, so we should be getting that any moment. We have confirmation that Falcon 9 is in startup, and we have go for launch.
Go for launch. Nice. 30 seconds, y'all.
So the thing to keep an eye on, at the bottom of the rocket, you will see at T-minus 3 seconds a green flash. That will be the T-Tab, which helps light the 9 Merlin 1D engines, followed, 3 seconds later, by full ignition and liftoff, hopefully, of this booster. 10 seconds to go.
All right, let's see if we get a launch this evening. We promise we won't talk through it.
We will let you enjoy the great launch audio once it happens. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9 carrying more internet satellites. Go, internet satellites, go. Wow, what views there? We got the vapor cone around it, which you kind of saw that little circle around it, and then you could see it as it basically passed through the sound barrier there in Max Q, leaving that contrail behind. And we have confirmation that we are through Max Q. That is the most pressure pushing down on the vehicle, maximum dynamic pressure.
Look at that, a little bit of a side shot there, actually. We can see the plume expansion on the auto track, too. I'm actually cheating. I'm watching Space Coast live at the same time where I can see all the other cameras. Sorry.
This is a great view, though, of the rocket going kind of sideways there. And as you mentioned, the plume expansion, that's as the atmosphere gets thinner. You will get to see them kind of spread out. It's not any change in the thrust or anything like that. It's just the thinner the atmosphere, the less it's pushing down on it, so they kind of spread out more. And you can kind of see each of them. Yeah.
That's Julia tracking this. Look at this.
It kind of makes sense that
Amazing
we're
track.
seeing almost sideways, because from her location, it will be sort of going sideways, right? It's a
Yeah.
southeast trajectory.
Oh, look at this.
Yep.
That's the auto
That's
track, and it's
amazing.
going directly away from us. Wow, and then suddenly it got really bright.
Yep, we should be coming up shortly on a few events in quick succession, which will be MECO, main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation between the first and second stage, and then the ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine. And there is MECO.
Yep, blinks out.
And now we should be seeing the stage separation. And there we go. There is the stage sep. And we have ignition of the upper stage there, the second stage Merlin vacuum engine, and the stiffener falling away. That is what that little thing was that you saw fly off on the right side of your screen.
And you know what happens to that MVAC when it ignites? It's
What?
orange.
It's orange. Thank you, Alex. It's obligatory. It's orange. Nice.
Yep.
Yep, and for those noticing, as Alex was talking about earlier, it is not stubby. It is a regular size Merlin vacuum engine, and this is
Indeed.
our camera still tracking it. This is our auto track. Amazing to see. We should also have the fairing separation coming
They
up shortly.
separated.
All right, we have confirmation of the fairing separation.
Seems
Wow.
like, yeah, they lost the feed here and there, so yeah.
They may have lost the feed, but we can see it here with our own cameras that it is
Mhm.
still proceeding onward. And this is stage 2 that we are watching here. This is the second stage.
You mean SpaceX lost their feed, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I wonder if we will be able to see, because the fairings pulsing with our, I don't even know.
Yes,
Might
the
not be
fairings,
good
for those who are
illumination.
unaware, are also reflown. Those come down on parachutes, can be refurbished, and then fly again.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, while we have a moment here, major shout out to Julia. I believe that may have been her first, it is her first ever track.
Nice.
And that was one of the best tracks we've had here. So a major shout out to Julia on that one.
That was actually a really cool angle because we got to see it from the side. If you're the problem with being at the press site is that no matter what, you're so close to the launch pad that the rocket always goes away from you, right? And from the press site, you never get that side view because it's just going away from you. It doesn't matter if it goes east or north or south or whatever. It's always going away. And when you set up at a different site, you can get that side view and see that really cool plume. That's really cool.
Yep. And we still see that occasional pixel there that you just saw. That is our auto track of the second stage and the stars going by around it. And yes, well-deserved praise right now in chat for Julia.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, auto track is reverted back to Flight Club. Julia, sorry, no, talk about Julia more than Flight Club.
Oh, I was going to say thank you all for your encouragement. And that was such a beautiful view, guys. I actually can't say I've seen a view like that in a long time. So it was my pleasure to bring it to you.
Nice. Thank you so much
Fantastic.
for rolling out to that different spot, too.
Yeah, and again, it brought us, like we were just talking about, one of the most unique angles we've had of a launch here on NASA spaceflight. So, love it.
Yeah.
Coming up shortly, we have the entry burn of that first stage booster. That should be coming up in about 20 seconds. The first stage will fire up its engines for approximately 20 seconds and basically use the fire of its own engines to slow itself down. So, yeah, that's the definition of fighting fire with fire here.
The Ring of Fire.
Oh, look at that. That's going to be the entry burn, isn't it?
Yep.
Am I seeing
One
that
engine
pixel
Yeah.
on the
and
left?
3
Yeah,
engines.
yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see the glow of the grid fin there.
Oh, so we're looking down. There's the entry burn.
And it
should be
burns,
igniting
burns,
there.
burns.
Yeah, there we go.
You can also get a good view of those grid fins, the things that are kind of waffle-like structures. You'll see those move a lot more as we get into the thicker part of the atmosphere to help steer the vehicle. I always
One
like
of
to
the
point out
things-
also at this point that this is how the booster gets sooty. At this point, it is flying through its own exhaust, which is
Yeah.
RP1 or kerosene, which is carbon-based. So that flying
For the
through it
15th
will add the
time.
soot. Yes.
One of the things that I really like about night launches, apart from this awesome
Look
view
at
of the
that.
re-entry, is you can actually spot the drone ship from even many, many kilometers high up. Because you can see through the grid fins the light of the drone ship.
I love it. And that is a shortfall of gravitas downrange southeast of the launch site, ready to brace for landing, essentially. Stage 2 FTS is safe. That's the flight termination system. Thankfully, we don't need that anymore. We didn't need the flight termination system for that, so that is a good thing. And the first stage, I believe, as well,
Yeah,
is
you can see there
continuing.
the light. Sometimes they cut away from it, but
Yeah.
yeah, you can see that light to the left of the booster shining through the grid fin. That is the drone ship.
Yep, and we should be about 25 to 30 seconds away from that first stage landing burn beginning. That will only take about 20 seconds for it to land, and that will be followed about 15 seconds after that, hopefully, by second engine cutoff, or SECO 1. So keep an eye on your screen. You can see on the bottom left there, only 3 kilometers up and 900 kilometers per hour there for that first stage data.
I'm looking for mice right now. It's a joke. Come on, there's no mouse on there. Seriously.
Oh. There we go,
Here
through
we
the
go.
clouds. Love that. There go the grid fins. You can see the drone ship now. Landing leg deploy.
Couple frames.
Good thing they're launching more Starlink.
There
There we
you go.
go. Touchdown confirmed. The booster now completing its 15th flight, making it only the 3rd SpaceX booster to have 15 or more flights, I believe, under its belt. That also marks the 136th consecutive landing in a row, and we should be getting word any second of SECO 1. There we go. The Merlin vacuum engine has shut down, and just based off of the numbers on the bottom right, it appears to be in nominal orbital trajectory. And we will wait for the official word as well from SpaceX confirming that the rocket did exactly what it was supposed to do and put the upper stage where it needs to be.
All right, that's what we came to see, huh?
Yeah, totally didn't come here to see a scrub. No, we came for the launch.
I mean, we came here to see whatever happened because we'll be here covering it and sharing it with the folks that are watching. So, you mind if I say thanks to some folks real quick? We
Please
sort of
do.
put a moratorium on super chats and stuff, but let me speed run some. Ron Speed 3 upgraded to, it says upgraded to the red team. Nice. Appreciate you there, Ron. We got Shadow Gunner 66, $2 for an air conditioner for Alex. I don't know how much Spanish air conditioners there are, but put that in the little
I have
jar.
air conditioner. It's just broken right now. I
Okay,
gotta
so
get it fixed.
Air conditioner repairs, then we'll correct that.
Yep.
Invincible Turtle says, "Can you do something special for me?" And then doesn't ask actually what the question is. Invincible Turtle, we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. Very cryptic
We got
message
you
there.
launch coverage. That's
Yeah,
a
some
special.
launch coverage. Yeah, look at
And
that.
confirmation, by the way, of nominal orbital insertion. So the first burn of the second stage is done.
All right, and here my view of the pad. No rocket, just the transporter erector leaning back at the angle here. The 4 towers still blinking along, but no rocket means we got to see a launch. Still speedrunning Kevin says, since no one is giving me a plushie, I'm buying one. I wonder if that's our Kevin. Were we supposed to give Kevin a plushie? I don't know. Anyways, look, there's a metal print. That's actually the metal print of.
Is that
Ooh,
him?
I don't know.
Let
Is
me
that
see.
the actual Kevin? Kevin?
Yeah, is that our
Me, Kevin, Michael
that
Reed?
one? Kevin,
A
speak up.
concrete shirt. I'm trying to
He's
divine
typing,
whether
he's
or not
typing.
this is Kevin from
It
the
is the
purchases
Kevin.
here.
Yeah.
Is there a plushie in this? Hey, there it is. Nice. A plushie too. All right, Kevin. Well, there a plushie is coming your way. It is the Kevin, he says. Andy Callie, thank you so much for becoming a Padrat member. We appreciate the support there. Joining the membership program. Thomas Piazza, $10 says thoughts on the upcoming full send test of Deluge at Starbase. Sorry, Deluge. At Starbase tomorrow in Boca Chica. SpaceX team put out an awesome picture on Twitter earlier today. I refuse for now. I'm not accepting that yet.
The button
Thomas.
still says tweet, so you're good.
It says tweet. The website is also still Twitter. So, I mean, we're going to be watching that. We've got lots of different cameras rolling out, including some potential special views, so we can get all sorts of good video and audio of the spray test tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how much bigger that is than the partial pressure test we saw. What was that, a week ago now? It's more than a week ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a little over.
Yeah, either way, we're going to be watching that on Starbase Live all tomorrow, and we will be pulling out all the stops, I guess, rolling out all the whatever things you roll out are, so that we can catch that and share that with y'all live on Starbase Live. Thomas Piazza, thank you so much for the support.
The deluge is going to be so big. How big is it? It's so big that we don't even know yet.
What?
Well,
Smash game.
I don't know, but if anyone is around it, probably should get some shampoo or something just to take advantage of it.
I'm speedrunning things here, y'all. Nyan, I'm going to assume your last name is Cat. Thanks for becoming a Capcom member. We appreciate you. Apocalypse Cow. Loxygen is now canon. Did you pronounce that canon? Canon?
Yes, you do. It's canon.
Everybody loves to correct the way that I say things. And they're like, actually, DOS, it's canon.
It's the same spelling as the camera.
Thank you. Thomas Piazza also joined the red team here, getting access to some of the cool behind-the-scenes pictures and stuff that we do. And then Shadowgunner says, RIP SN15. I have the Landing Club t-shirt. Shadowgunner, I've got one of those too. I got their long sleeve one in red, actually. We turned them back on in the shop earlier today as a tribute. And we put something on the back of the t-shirts. It's like, what was it? I survived landing from 10 kilometers and all I got was a stupid t-shirt. Sincerely, SN15. We didn't edit it to say like, and all I got was stored for 700 and however many days and then cut up by torches. But anyways, we did add that back to the shop just this morning, I guess. So that if you want your last chance at SN15 merchandise, you can have it. Go to the shop and type in SN15. You'll find it. We're not going to link it or anything like that. So, and unless I need to link it, I can do that. How we doing, y'all? I have speedrun all of the thanks for everybody that supported the stream and made it so that we can keep doing what we do.
Yes. Let me just quickly, while we have a second, go over what will happen for the rest of this mission. As we mentioned, we had SECO 1, second engine cutoff. There will be a second burn, so that will be SES 2, second engine start to about 54 minutes after liftoff. That is only a 3-second burn, so that'll be followed by SECO 2. And then at T plus 1 hour and 5 minutes, the Starlink satellites will deploy. We will not be covering all of that, but we will keep you updated as well on all of the social channels and in our launch roundup as well of what happens with that. But keep in mind, the Falcon fun never stops. It does not end here because tomorrow we have Falcon Heavy and, in the words of the Terminator, we'll be back.
Oh my gosh.
We will try again.
Seriously. Folks, yes, Falcon Heavy is still on for tomorrow, right? Isn't that the latest information was that they were still going for tomorrow? Is that confirmed?
That is confirmed according to SpaceX. 11:04 p.m. is once again the opening of the 99-minute window.
All right. Well, we'll be right back here on the same channel. If you're not following the channel yet, y'all, this is what we do. We do launch coverage like this. We don't sit here and read a script and like, oh, here's the press release. We're just going to tell you the numbers in the press release or whatever. We answer your questions. We read the chat. We have a lot of fun. We tell jokes. We're a bunch of space nerds who love sharing space things with other like-minded space folks. So if you want to get back to our channel, you know how to do it. Click the little button, the follow, what is it, subscribe button or whatever they're calling it these days, on YouTube, and turn on the notifications indicated by the bell so you get a notification whenever we go live. Maybe follow us on Twitter as well. We've got @NASASpaceflight. is the official Twitter. And when we go live, we'll get a tweet out that way in case you're not sitting there waiting for. We're doing like a VAB inspired 4-box on Space. Oh, no, we just have VAB all the time on Space Coast.
All VAB all the time.
It's all VAB all the time. VAB, sorry. I'm not sure exactly what we have going on here. But anyways, you know what to do. Smash the like button too. How many likes do we have? We got a couple. 2.1 thousand. That's not bad. That's a good showing for a oh no, maybe that's the other thing. I gotta make the window bigger. 1,500. That's not a bad showing for a Starlink, y'all, is it?
I don't think so.
Not bad.
I'm glad to have any and all of you guys here because it's your watching us and liking and subscribing and supporting that allows us to roll out cameras like this and do what we do.
Hang on. Can we seriously not search for SN15 in the shop? I'm going to have a chat with the shop. Here we go. Look, I'm just going to link it for y'all. Somebody said they couldn't actually search for SN15. So there, if you're looking for it, is the direct link. Let me make sure that link actually works. Yep, that goes to the Landing Club shirt. I guess that one was disabled, and when we went back and we fixed all the search terms in the shop, we didn't add SN15 to that. It's actually the Landing Club member shirt. So if you search for landing, it'll come up, or you just click the link that I put in chat. There, thanks, Thomas, for the help. Either of those links will work. If you're trying, hey, look, somebody ordered one. What happened? Was it my mom? Did my mom just order of? No, hang on. From my workroom at the school, name is Patricia. See, because my mom's name is Patricia, and she works in a workroom. Mom, text me if you just bought a shirt. Seriously? It's good grief.
Hey, last stream my mom got a gifted membership. This time your mom bought a shirt, so
Really?
we're good. Yeah.
Wait, Das, couldn't she have taken one of the two that you need to get rid of so that you can get a new shirt? I mean,
Yeah,
saying.
right. No, she
Mom.
wants the latest NSF merch. She's always like, send me the shirt, send me the... Of course I send her the shirts. I think she got the lightning print, though, from the Last Chance collection. That's what's up on the screen when I did display the message. You're going to have to text
Good
me, Mom.
choice.
It's not from the workroom, it's for the workroom at school, so she can display the Falcon Heavy lightning print where she works. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Good night. we can stop the stream now, I guess.
I think, yeah, we can not only just say goodnight to Das's mom, but we could say goodnight to everybody who's here at least.
Everybody say goodnight to my mom. She's a very classy lady, and I'm lucky to have her.
Oh, yes. Goodnight to Das's mom. I'm also going to put a goodnight to my mom out there as well, although she's a night nurse normally, so we're both night owls, but... I love seeing the love from chat there. There we go. Instead of goodnight Moom, it's goodnight Mom.
Seems like someone bought a Sawyer right now.
Hey! That's my mom's purchase then. There you go. Well, actually, yeah, she got stuck with me. She didn't buy me.
That's what your mom bought. Nice. I think this is Pat, Space Pat's indicator that we should be wrapping up the stream. He's just going to start putting our names on the screen.
So I could say,
stop talking.
So then we'll say good night, Das. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, Sawyer. We'll do like a, what was it, Dalton family, Walton family thing?
Good night, Jim Bob. Yeah. Julia, thank you for rolling out and dealing with the mosquitoes and for the amazing first track.
Yeah, that was such a great job. Good job, Julia.
Thank you, Dawson. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.
And of course, thank you for dealing with the lack of fan that you have out there, Alex, as well.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, we have the Falcon Heavy tomorrow, and also maybe by Sunday we have another launch here from this pad again. We'll see what happens with that. But it will be another turnaround record if they achieve it.
Yes, and thank you once again to Pat O in the back there for pushing the buttons, pulling the levers, and helping bring these amazing views to you as well. As mentioned, I am Sawyer Rosenstein, and we will be back once again for Falcon Heavy. Julia, I will see you out there as we both get eaten alive, and hopefully we will see you there as well.
And here we go.
We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Throttle off and off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Décollage.
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?